I think Topuria's got the power to like change the whole world. Bro, like if you watch how smooth he drills like Topuria, he's definitely got good jiu-jitsu. Ilia Topuria, the favorite, is going to knock out Oliveira pretty quick. I believe it.
We already know when Charles get rocked, you know what I mean? There's, that boy quick to crumble. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why guys don't attack him, right? Because of that jiu-jitsu is still a major threat. And, Topuria always claims not only does he got the best hands, but he got some good grappling that we don't usually get to see. But is he willing to go down on that ground with him? And that's going to explain a lot to me, whether Ilia Topuria can get it done. But if I was to just pick a pick, I'll go with Topuria for this one.
Ilia's a guy we haven't seen it really, but he's confident in his jiu-jitsu. He's going to follow Charles down. When I hurt Charles, and it's rinse and repeat, a lot of guys have hurt Charles, but we don't follow. We try to make him get back up and touch him again. I think Ilia, if he does sit Charles down, he's going to follow him up, get into his guard. And we've seen Charles, like when guys go into his guard and play jiu-jitsu with him and aren't afraid of that, kind of he starts breaking a little bit, I think. But we'll see when Charles shows up. Me rooting for the dogs, I'd have to go with Charles reclaiming the throne and getting his belt back.
Charles standing, very textbook, but gets hit a lot. Ilia loves scrapping, loves moving on the inside, loves slipping punches to land punches. He's so good at dirty boxing. I just don't see where Charles wins his fight against Ilia.
Keys to victory for Charles Oliveira. You got to make it dirty. You got to get close on him. I think you have to initiate the clinch, initiate grappling exchanges, especially early. Don't try to sit there and box with him. Don't strike with him. I know you have a high guard, but you get caught a lot with looping punches on the outside. You don't want to get caught with a looping punch by Topuria. My pick is going to be Topuria. I think he's so good with his hands. He's so good at setting up punches, setting up traps, that he's going to eventually catch Charles.
Man, that's so hard to answer because, like I say, Topuria is very good, powerful, explosive, very good at jiu-jitsu, too, very good at take-down defense. But Charles is just the aura, right? That Charles has, the aura. Like he always comes to the fight, and you can never count him out, So I don't know. I hope Charles wins, but if I had to put my money, I would put on Topuria.
Okay.
I think Ilia Topuria is the safe pick. If you wanted to put some money on this, I assume that Ilia is the favorite. I don't know what the odds are, but I assume that he's the favorite.
I would think so.
We can't bet. And I'm a fan of Charles Oliveira, and all I've ever done is talk highly about him. But I'd be really, really confident putting a good amount of money on Ilia Topuria. Yes, Charles has the ability to finish. Yes, he's reckless. Yes, he's dangerous. Yeah, he's got the subs and he can hit hard and all that stuff. And he's got the experience and he's a former champion. But he has lost a few lately. He has lost a lot at 145. He has taken some damage. He is reckless, which makes him dangerous and exciting, but also he's a bad matchup when you look at Ilia.
Yeah, well, so I've got Ilia. I've got Ilia. I think just stylistically, and what we've seen, Charles likes to, he's very aggressive, very exciting fight. That's why we all love to watch him. But if he comes aggressive like that, there's going to be opportunities for Ilia. And Ilia can bang. You know what I mean? If you're going to come forward like that, you might land yourself. That's always going to be something as well, right? Like Charles could definitely catch him, but you can be hittable if you come aggressively like that, especially with someone like Ilia who's going to back himself and try and put one on you as you're coming in like that, especially if you're a little bit out of position. That I wouldn't say his chin's up. He sort of has a sort of guard, but the way he comes forward in a straight line, I think Ilia can really sit on some shots if that's the case. I know there's going to be knees coming up. Will he be worried about that? Will he want to be defensive first, Ilia, because he knows how aggressive Charles is going to come forward? It's an interesting one because we don't know how Ilia is on the back foot.
Right.
But will Charles be like, his only chance is catching me, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to tell him I'm going to come forward aggressive, but I'm actually going to shoot on him. We'll see what happens. But if he comes aggressive and does what he always does, I think, Ilia.
You think he knocks him out?
I think it's a knockout, yes.
Yeah. Look, I've got nothing but respect for Topuria. I'm leaning towards Topuria on this fight. No, I'm leaning towards Topuria because Charles does have a tendency to leave his chin up a little bit higher. He is very hittable. He is like a modern day Eddie Alvarez. He gets rocked and then comes back and beats you.
Very much.
The difference between him and Eddie is that he has got the submissions and the grappling once he rocks you to not just have to finish you with striking, but also to jump on your neck and submit you in any way he wants, whether it's triangle, whether it's guillotines, whether it's getting to your back and rear naked chokes. He can finish you from anywhere, plus he's got power in his hands. He's a nasty, dirty, good fighter.
When Ilia hits people, we all see what happens. So the thing is, with this fight, the real big question mark is that first shot that Ilia lands, is it going to put him away? Is it going to put Charles Oliveira away? And is Charles not going to be able to recover from it? That is the biggest question here. Like, whatever Ilia lands on Charles first, does it put him away completely? Or do we see the wounded Charles get back up somehow, fight back in the fight, and somehow gets a finish, you know? This fight, if Ilia gets a finish or a knockout, it wouldn't surprise me. But if Charles wins with a submission or even a finish of his own, even a knockout finish of his own, it doesn't surprise me. This fight is like super up in the air, guys. A lot of people are counting Charles Oliveira out, but that's when he just thrives in being the underdog. I don't know. It's how many times we called this man out and he and he somehow found a way to win, you know? So from my perspective, this fight is going to be decided probably in the first 3 minutes or 4 minutes of this fight, the first round, because Oliver is going to get touched. And is Ilia going to touch him with something that puts him out cold, or is going to hurt him and then he somehow finds a way to fight back? So that's the main thing with this fight, you know. If I was a betting man on this fight, and Charles Oliveira is he's the underdog. I mean, Charles Oliveira is like one of the best fighters in the world to put money on an underdog. So, you know, that's all I'm saying.
If you watch one of Topuria's earlier fights where he's dipping a lot, I can see Charles Oliveira's catching him with the knee right up the middle. You know, and I can see the front kick going up the middle because he has a traditional boxing stance, you know, the way he comes in. And one good way to beat a good boxer is Muay Thai. You know, good Muay Thai stance can get a good boxer if you have good Muay Thai. And Charles's Muay Thai is not great, but it's good. So he has a chance. And on the ground, he has a chance also. So you can't.
He has a chance, but do you see him winning? Like, would you pick him?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a whole different story.
I want him to win, but I give the edge to Topuria.
I just see Ilia is too sharp with the hands, man. He's too sharp with the hands. Leg kicks, I don't think Ilia is going to use them too much unless Charles is fighting long. If Charles is fighting long, he has to be ready to check the leg kick. But I think Charles should use the teeps, man. Feint the teeps, thing in the hands. But feints, Charles needs to feint or just find a way to just cause doubt in Ilia's mind. It's a good fight, bro. Fucking great fight. But again, I don't want to doubt Charles because he's illuminado. He's illuminated by a great power. And he just proved himself as well over and over again. Sometimes, like when he's being caught to come back. And people called him a quitter in the past, but he's not a quitter. You try and fight. Tell me how you feel. I'm trying to think. If Charles can submit him, how? We gotta get him to the ground first. And I've something about Ilia's ground game, just the way he talks it up. I believe him when he talks it up about his ground game. So I'm like, man, but this is Charles do Bronx though. If Charles can get it down, bro, fucking grapple him. Let's see what the grappling is about. Test it, because no one's tested Topuria's grappling quite well yet. In this fight, I'm gonna go Ilia Topuria.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Charles Oliveira is a phenomenal martial artist. The problem with Oliveira, and I have this as well when I picture him, you know, I have little highlight reels of fighters in my head. So when you say a fighter's name, I start playing a little highlight reel of them. And sometimes it's just them completely brutalizing people. Like with Khabib, I never see Khabib on the back foot in my head. Whereas Charles Oliveira, I see him getting dropped, and doing awkward things on the ground where his head's in bad positions to get punched, and him slumping against the fence with his injured shoulder. You know, these are pieces that I've got in my mind's highlight reel that builds the character. And so what that does is it creates a scenario where I can visualize Ilia Topuria cracking him with a big shot and dropping him, and then being smart enough not to follow him to the floor. You know, post on the back of his head and just keep hitting him until the referee jumps in and stops him. And that, to me, is the most likely scenario.
Both these guys like to come forward. Boom. Both these guys like to back their opponent up. Charles, he marches forward with those knees. He whips heavy head kicks. He's got the best guard in MMA. The later the fight goes, the more I feel like it's gonna sway towards Ilia Topuria because of his stance, because of his pressure and his patient pressure, and because of his body work. But again, Charles in those first couple rounds is gonna be so dangerous. He could knee him right in the lips. He could kick him right in his dome piece, just like Jai Herbert did. Take him out. My heart, again, Shug said this, my heart wants Charles Oliveira. My brain says Ilia Topuria. But you know what? I'm going Ilia Topuria. I mean, no. Scratch that. I'm going Charles Oliveira. Gets it done. TKO.
It's good questions. It depends, man. Who can follow his MMA? Who can follow his game plan? You know, if Charles can take him down, he can finish him easy in the ground. Or if Topuria catch him, he gonna sleep. You know, and two options. Who is gonna make the game plan working?
Yeah, it would. There's never been.
But if Charles have small chance, if you give him small chance, he gonna finish. That's why Charles always dangerous.
Yeah. Who do you think
So
will fight?
I will put 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at this fight and how Charles could potentially get this done, I just think Ilia Topuria is so solid everywhere. And if Charles does close that gap to get into that clinch, you're right into the wheelhouse of Ilia's body attacks. And I've watched him at practice put guys down with body shots. Put guys down. So I just think Charles is gonna have to really try to snipe him from the outside, like he did with Michael Chandler, and potentially hope that Ilia makes a mistake, drops his hand somewhere, and you're able to kind of hurt him and jump on and finish with the submission or something. But besides that, I see Ilia Topuria stepping in and becoming the next, two-division champion.
Damn, that.
Ilia Topuria, I looked, and he is a minus, as of right now, which we're doing this fairly early, minus 410 favorite. And Charles Oliveira is a plus 320 dog.
Oh my God.
I must be crazy. Like, I was literally thinking about like how I'm going to say this on this video, because I have so much to say about how I think Charles can get the better of Ilia. And it's not that I think Charles should be favored. To be clear, I do favor Ilia in this fight. But those odds to me are wild.
Ilia Topuria is the one guy that's doing everything that I'm speaking about doing, and I'm leaning towards Charles. How do we get to that conclusion? Well, I'll answer it. Size does matter your first time up.
What they mean when they say that I'm not that big. Maybe I'm not the tallest guy, but my weight is not gonna be lower than Charles' weight.
Mm-hmm.
And
even after you rehydrate, even after
rehydration and all that, I'm gonna be maybe even heavier than him. Actually,
Wow.
That's one of the reasons why I moved up to the lightweight division, because I had to kill myself to make the 145. So I don't know what they mean when they say that I'm the smaller guy. But as I told you, they are going to discover that it doesn't matter how tall you are going to end up in the floor with your lights out. This is what's going to happen when you have a guy like me in front of you.
And I'm listening to the interviews by Ilia, And my concern with Ilia's interviews is only one thing, but he keeps talking about how much he's enjoying 155. He gave a metaphor. He compared it to living on the beach, as where he's talking about when he had to cut down to 145, that it was like living in the desert. The lifestyle was too trying and it was too challenging. And suffering is a big part of this game. It's a big part of when you leave the locker room and you ask yourself that ultimate and final question, do I deserve to win? Have I sacrificed more than that guy? It's very important that your answer is yes. And for the first time ever, Ilia openly and knowingly has foregone some of the suffering and some of the sacrifice. And I think that Charles is going to wear on him and walk through that fire. And I just think Charles is going to walk through that fire. I'm going to say that history is going to be shown to be wrong on Saturday. I am taking Charles Oliveira by TKO.